Moving on to complexion, let's start with foundation. So this is my oldest foundation. This is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I don't know what happened to the cap, but it's always been this gross. So I am going to be decluttering this foundation because I got this back in 2018 and like it's 2023. I got it back in December of 2018. I got it for my wedding. Yeah, I feel that it is a lovely foundation. I feel like this is a perfect long wear foundation even on my oily skin. If you just set it with powder and use setting spray, this foundation wears so well over time. It does not look cakey at all. I think this is like one of the OG best foundations ever. The next foundation, this foundation I got around April last year. I have used quite a bit, like for my standards. I have used this much since I got it in April, which is a lot for me. I don't wear makeup every day. One thing I don't like about is the cap. As you can see, suction is non-existent. I really enjoy the foundation itself. It is very glowy. You don't need any highlighter after this unless you set like very heavily using powder. And this is such a light and buildable foundation. I like, you need the smallest amount. This I would say is a full coverage foundation. This is medium coverage. You can build it up or you can sheer it out even more. I think this can almost work like a skin tint if you want it to. This tends to get oily over time. It's not as long wearing as the MAC one, but I feel if you set it really well with setting spray and like keep powdering from time to time, this can wear really well. So I really enjoy using this foundation as well. I didn't say the shade name. The shade name is Strombly M3. Then I got this Shiseido foundation. This is Synchro Skin Self Refreshing Foundation. I have the shade 330. Now the problem with this is that this is lighter than my skin tone. Like to mix them and get my perfect shade. But this one, I somehow feel that this foundation can find the dry patch on your face. Another thing, this foundation has SPF, so it tends to have flashback in flash photography. One of the drugstore foundations that I have, this is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Pro Matte. It was supposed to be a dupe of MAC Studio Fix. That's why I got it. I wanted to try a drugstore foundation, but I feel that it sits really heavy on my skin and I don't enjoy the finish. It is very difficult to spread. Foundation is matte. I am oily, but something is not working for me with this foundation, and that's why I think I am going to be decluttering this foundation as well. I have the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. This is like one of the first foundations that I tried that have a olive undertone, but some days it looks yellow on me, some days it looks perfect on me. I think I'm a muted olive, so that's where the warmth does not work for me. Had this been a neutral olive kind of shade, I think this would have worked for me a lot better. But again, I absolutely love this foundation, but I won't say it won't wear for long on oily skin. It gets very shiny as time goes on, so powder well set well with this foundation. But I love the finish. It gives the most skin like finish. It's amazing. I really enjoy using this foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Matte Super Blendable Foundation. Since I ended up getting a lighter shade in this, I got a darker shade in this to mix and match as I tan. So these are my mixer foundations I use. I this viral, kind of viral, everyone is talking about it. But this is the shade medium tan, and this is the darkest shade available here in India, and it is light for me. Also, it is very shiny, but again, I enjoy it as a, it is very neutral in undertone. That's why I enjoy mixing it with my slightly yellow foundations to neutralize them. This is the last foundation that I have. This is the Chanel Le Beige Touche de Teint Water Fresh Complexion Touch. This, I wanted to get the water fresh complexion tint. This is the complexion touch. It's a tad bit dark on my face, but nonetheless, I really enjoy the finish. It gives the most skin like finish. This is like a true skin tint with skincare ingredients. You need the tiniest amount. This has more, like, this has less serum than the previous version and more foundation pearls, so it gives a bit more coverage. But I'm keeping 6 foundations. I have decluttered these two. Moving on to concealers and contour sticks. Concealers first. These are all the concealers that I have. This is the NARS Soft Matte Ginger Medium 2. Initially, I used to think it's a bit dark for me, but this is the perfect shade, and this is the most perfect concealer ever. It is so full coverage. I really enjoy using it as a underpainting concealer. It works really well under foundation to correct and actually give you a blank canvas. So in the end, you can go in with a thinner layer of the foundation. It works really well. It's really long wearing. They have they have an amazing shade range, and it's really good for oily skin, so I enjoy using it a lot. And if I ever run out of it, I am going to repurchase, and I use this a ton. But like, there's a lot, and I also like the pot format. This is the newest concealer in my collection. This is the Huda Beauty 4 filter concealer, and oh my god, this is my most favorite concealer ever. This is medium to full coverage. This is full coverage, but I love using this underneath and then going on top with this. It gives a really bright but hydrated under eye finish. This does not crease, but I still set it because I don't want it to crease, because your skin moves and product tends to settle. But I feel like I can get away without setting this one. This is amazing. I love the finish. The price point is good, quantity is good. Then this makeup artist that I follow on Instagram, she uses this Born This Way concealer in the shade Sand as a underpainting concealer. She's almost like my skin tone, but she uses it to uh cover her acne scars and as underpainting. So I thought I would get this in case, like, foundation is too light and you want to adjust it. It also works for that. Some days it works really well, but some days it makes my base look a bit too dark. But nonetheless, I really enjoy this concealer, and I am considering getting one that is slightly lighter, like, is a perfect match for me. But then I'm confused if I want to get the same concealer, or I also want to try the Lancome uh, tint Idol concealer. So I'm confused. Then I have the Dio Skin Correct Forever Skin Correct in the shade 3WO, same as the foundation. This has now been reformulated without silicones, and I think Dio Beauty has gone clean or vegan or something like that. So yeah, this concealer, this is really full coverage, and when I first got it, I was like I used it quite a lot from my standards. I was really enjoying this, when then suddenly when I developed fine lines, this started creasing terribly on me. So just remember that you have to set this concealer. Otherwise, I like to use it on my no makeup days, and I have this from Pat McGrath Labs. Everyone was raving about this concealer. I have the shade LM13. Uh, this also creases on me. This is thick, it is a full coverage concealer and you need the tiniest amount. Little goes a long way, but this also creases, so you have to set it, but like you need the tiniest amount so it'll last you very long. And but you need to set it. This will also crease, so yeah, you need to set it. And I think the Pat McGrath shades also tend to run a bit yellow, so just be careful of that. This is one of the drugstore concealers that I have. This is the L'Oreal Infallible. Like, if you follow Kaushal on YouTube, she made me buy it when this launched in India. I had to get it. Again, this is thick, full coverage, but I really like it. I set it. I haven't noticed any creasing, but I am sure this will crease if you don't set it. I really enjoy using it, but some days I find it a bit cakey. Like, it is very full coverage. Accidentally got a shade that's a bit too light for me. This is supposed to be medium neutral, 20 medium neutral, but this is not medium from any shape or form. This is very light. So yeah, if I want to have that brightening concealer effect, this is the only one that I have for that. So it is, so I like using it. But again, this is very, very, very pigmented and very thick. So take the tiniest amount, like tiniest, not pea-sized, like rhinestone sized, I would say. But I haven't worn this enough to feel any more feelings about this, so yeah, I'm going to be keeping it. Then I have the Elegant Pro Conceal in the shade Peach Corrector. So in my concealers, I am not going to be decluttering anything. Cream contours, this is the one that I got the first. This was the only one available in India that time. That was a cream contour. It is the Kiko Milano, and if you twist it up, it does not go back down. You have to push it, which sucks. Like, it's almost around 1200 rupees, and that packaging like the packaging shouldn't suck this much. But I feel, yeah, this is a perfect very neutral tone for medium to dark skin. No, not dark skin, light to medium skin. And it takes a it takes time to blend out. That I will say, it takes time to blend out. So just don't apply it all over your face and then, like, just go one by one, apply it to one place and then move on to another. But I think this does not move a lot, and I really enjoy using this one. Then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand in the shade Fair Medium. I don't know why they didn't launch medium to dark, the medium to dark variant in India. But again, I really enjoy this one. The formula is very thin. You need, like, you can even if you apply too much, you can blend it out. It blends really well, and I enjoy the cool undertone of this, and it shows up on my skin tone as well. So I really enjoy this one. Then I have the M Cosmetics, the absolute state of this stick. I have the M Cosmetics So Soft Bronzing and Sculpt Stick in Terra. This is the cool toned one, the lightest cool toned one. I wanted something lighter than this, but something darker than this Fenty Amber. uh, I wanted something neutral, gray toned. That's why I got this. This is like currently my most used contour stick. But one thing about it, like, it is, I really enjoy the formula. It is, as it says, very soft, lovely to blend out, but it moves. So just remember to set your concealer, yeah, set your contour with some powder, bronzer, or just normal setting powder. Set it. If you're oily, set it, otherwise this will move on your face. Then I wanted to try Fenty Amber for some sculpting, but sadly, like, it shows up on me. But like, I wanted a true contour shade, true gray contour shade that I could use to, like, use in looks where I transform my features. that's where I wanted to use this, so I got it. Haven't used it a ton. I got a mini, uh, but the mini is so small, like it's almost tragic. That's I've used it twice. So these are all the primers that I have. The Lakme Absolute Blur Perfect Primer. I had one of these. I really enjoy using these. Like it works very well underneath foundation, blurs, and the foundation goes on top of it extremely nicely. And it has expired, so we are going to be letting go of that. But I really enjoy, like if you want something from Indian drugstore, this one is really good. Emerald Embrolis, Embrolis, Embrolis less lay cream concentrate. It is almost, it is a very heavy one if you are not into heavy winter moisturizers kind of stuff. It is almost a moisturizer for winter, but this works as this works as a primer as well as skincare. Like I don't use it as a primer as much as I use it as a skincare last step for my skincare. Then I have the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer Base. This is supposed to be silicone free, and I got it on the recommendation of Julia Adams, and it was one of like the Wet n Wild stuff which was actually available in India. It is a really good one, but I don't notice like I'm not a primer person per se, so I don't like notice a ton of difference with primers. So then I wanted to try the Milk Hydro Grip, but I've heard a lot of people say that it breaks them out, so I got the mini. I have used it 4 5 times. And I think the mini is a decent size for a person who doesn't use primer. I got this when Elf launched in India, and this I did use it for some time, but I don't again notice anything, and like it doesn't do anything for my oily skin. Especially for this, I noticed that like my foundation gets as oily as it would without a primer. So yeah, my highlighters. I think highlighters is the smallest category in my makeup collection. So this one is from Kaleidos. I like these are so popular on YouTube, and I wanted to try a colorful highlight. So I got this. I got this in the shade Skywalker. This has a blue shift, and if you use it on a purple base, then it gives off a purple shift. So yeah, I wanted a duochrome like colorful highlighter, and I thought I would get this. This from Wet n Wild. It is the Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. It was also highly recommended on YouTube, and I wanted to try it. It is a rose gold champagne kind of a highlighter. Not much, but it shows up really well, and it like gives a like it's a fuss free highlighter. It does what it says, and I don't like the packaging because it doesn't close shut. You can break it at any time, but like for the price point, I think it's what you pay, what you get. But then I have the Hollywood Flawless filter. Like this has to be my favorite highlighter ever. You can use it under foundation, on top of foundation, anywhere you want it. And this shade is lovely. I wish I had gotten a mini. I think if I had a mini, I would have finished it. But again, I love this, and I am going to keep using it. Uh, I also have the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. I don't like it as much as I like this. This lifts my foundation. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it lifts my foundation if I apply it on top of it. You have to be very careful. You have to use a brush. You have to use a very light hand. Like I love the finish. It's very beautiful. If you use it for a no makeup day without foundation, it like you look like you are glowing within. But again, this one gives the same finish. It's just slightly more glittery, but this gives a more natural finish. And then I wanted to try the Rare Beauty equivalent to the Hollywood Flawless filter. This is one of the initial launches of Rare Beauty. This is the shade, this is the liquid luminizer, and the shade is Mesmerize. And I don't like it as much as I like the Hollywood Flawless filter. This is a highlighter. You can use it underneath the foundation, but this seems like a true highlighter. Moving on to powders, these are all the powders that I have. I have, this is an Indian brand. I have the Sugar translucent setting powder. I really like this powder. It is extremely finely milled and I love the finish, even though it is translucent. Like it's white in color, but don't worry, it does not give a lot of flashback. Although I don't like this part, like a lot comes out and a lot comes off on this sponge as well, but it comes with the applicator. It's very fine and it gives a extremely blurred finish. Then again from the drugstore, I got the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. Allegine's like uses this after setting spray to set her makeup, and that's why I got it. Again, I got the shade Transparent, but it is a bit light for me, and I feel that it feels slightly heavy. Again from the drugstore, this is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is one of my favorite powders. It is huge. I love the color. Don't love the whatever this is, but great for setting my makeup. Looks really good on my under eyes, and also makes my makeup last as well. So I have the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. I got the shade medium, as someone with medium skin tone would, but this is dark for my under eyes. Especially when I use a puff to set it, it darkens my under eyes. But again, like the formula is lovely. It's very, like, it is so finely milled and it's like buttery smooth. I really like this powder, but I wish I had gotten the translucent one. I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, one of the most famous products from Charlotte Tilbury, and I absolutely hate it. It's not as fine as the Pat McGrath one. This is that thing, insert meme here. This is that thing. It does nothing for me. It does not set my makeup. It does not stop my oils from coming in. Doesn't blur my pores. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this powder. You can skip it. Like, this is better. This is me 20 days later. So the last section that remained in that box was bronzers. So these are all my bronzers. I have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I am going to be, straight away I'm going to be decluttering these two. I'm going to be decluttering the Benefit Hoola. I don't use it that much, and one of my cousins said that she wanted to try it, so I will give it to her. I am also going to be decluttering this Sugar Cosmetics Contour de Force, but to be honest, I don't use it very much. Like, it's a decent formula, but like, it's nothing amazing, and like half of the time I don't even notice it on my face, so I'm going to be decluttering it. And then I have the Huda Beauty Glowish bronzer in the shade Tan Light. It's the Soft Radiance bronzing powder in the shade Tan Light. It is slightly darker than these two. Actually shows up on my face. It's perfect for travel and I really like it. It's very easy to blend. Some people say that it has hard pan for them, and to be honest, I can see a little bit of hard pan, but nothing that can be fixed. I have the Gucci Beauty bronzing powder in 03. Again, this is one of my favorite bronzers. It is like very, you can see it, it's very pigmented. So this has a pearl running through it, gives a really, like, it's I won't say that this is a shiny or a brightening or a luminous bronzer. It is still a matte bronzer, but it has slight golden, very fine golden shimmer scattered through it, and I really like the effect. This is my most used bronzer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. I have the shade medium, and honestly I could have gone for the shade light, but even then I feel that this does show up on my face. Where do I, this is like my fail safe bronzer. For me, I need my bronzer to be neutral toned. I don't want my bronzer to be orange or anything. This is a beautiful neutral tone, and I love how it looks on my skin. You can apply it directly on unpowdered skin, and even then it doesn't get patchy, blends like a dream. And lastly, this is a cream bronzer. This is the Huda Beauty Tanto. I have the shade light. I had wanted this for a very long time, and when it launched in India, after a lot of contemplation, I got it. This is the shade light. It is very buttery, very pigmented, applies beautifully. You definitely need to go light handed with this, but it blends beautifully, and I think it lasts decently well, and it is one of the few cream bronzers available in India which has a great shade range. So this is my box where I keep all my eye related stuff, all my eyeliner, eyebrow related stuff. This is the only way I feel I can store them. Moving on to this miscellaneous box, I keep everything that I use every time that I'm doing my makeup in this box, so that I don't have to go into separate like containers and look for them. So I have a few perfume samples, lipstick samples, MAC Fix Plus samples here. Then this is how I keep all my lip liners. I have one Charlotte Tilbury Foxy Brown. I have the matte chestnut. I have three from K Beauty. I have Fame, I have Hype, and I have High Impact. Then I have this one from Rimmel. This is the shade, I don't know what, East End Snob. This is the shade East End Snob, and this was supposed to be a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, but sadly that is false. It is not a dupe. Then I have this. This is like one of my oldest ones. This is Pack So Spicy. It's very, very drying. They've changed the packaging now, but I don't know about the formula. I have two from NYX. I have Copenhagen and Soft Spoken, Tilbury Foxy Brown, K Beauty Fave, Matte Chestnut, and Milani Rich Cocoa. 536 Cold Brown, and it is currently out of stock at online and at Kiko Milano store. MAC Chili. At all times, I keep my mascaras here, my lash color, my brow gel, eyebrow stuff, eyebrow filler, my lash applicator, my corrector. I have this false lash building base mascara. This is primers, and that's it. Okay, so moving on to the second box, I have my single eyeshadows here. I have blushes, and I have the Got to Be Glued water resistant spiking glue. This is what I use to get the soapy, like the soap brows effect. This is with my single eyeshadows. These are from Quasa. It's a Indian indie brand. This is like these are flaky, shimmery. These are very fine shimmer. Like you can compare them to the Kala Cosmetics ones. Really amazing range, and these are very decently priced, and something like this available in India, I think it's amazing. Then I have these loose and pressed glitter. I liked how they looked, so I got these. Again, it's a Indian indie brand. Two of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. I have the shade Champagne and Chocolate Brown. I really like this formula. It's so easy to work with. It blends amazingly. It's a very wet formula. It blends amazingly, like, and like everything goes beautifully on top as well. I find that it's a bit light for me. I want to try the shade Exaggerize, but again, it gives a really nice sheen on the lid. It's like almost gives a wet finish, as Amanda Z would say. I have the Hourglass Scattered Light Glitter Reflect Shadow in the shade Reflect. Again, one of my favorites. It's a pressed glitter but very fine. It looks amazing on the eyes. I use it a ton. Then I have the Danessa Myricks Chrome Flakes in the shade Strobe Light. I have Victoria Beckham lid luster in the shade Mink, another one of my favorites. Then I got this Dazzle shadow from MAC when I was starting my makeup collection. It is a gold shade. I really don't like this a lot. It is a very beautiful sparkly one, but I don't like this a lot because it has a ton of fallout. Like I have one from Rowan, Disco Eye Universal. I absolutely hate this. It is so dry. It comes off like this flake. It applies unevenly over the eyes. It does not spread. It does not blend. Got this Hindash matte fluid. What is it called? Color Fluid Ultra Matte Pigment in Thorn. It dries down so fast. I have one About Face Fluid I paint in the shade Matte. Another disappointment is the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Foils. You cannot remove it once you apply it because the glitter will go everywhere. The fallout is crazy. It is very glittery, but as you try to blend it, it starts picking up on itself. It sets very fast and it starts picking up on itself. So if you try to blend it out more, then you get bald patches because it lifts. It does. This is a good one. This is the color, this is the Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadow in the shade Space Cowboy, and like this is the stuff of my dreams. It is so beautiful. It is very sheer. The base is very sheer on this, but it looks like stars on your eye. I have these glitter eyeshadows. These are the dupes for the Stila ones, but this is from Swiss Beauty, biggest part of my collection. I am a cream blush lover and I have collected a lot of cream blush over the time. These are all my Rare Beauty blushes. I have Bliss, I have Happy, I have Grateful, I have Love, I have Encourage, and I have Joy. Encourage and Joy are one of the classics and my favorite. And Happy is a newer favorite. Everyone is about that pink look these days, so Happy works really well on my complexion as well. It doesn't wash me out. I don't enjoy this one, but I really like this one. But I have two from Nude Sticks. I have the shade Sunset Strip and Picante. I have three from Patrick Ta. I have She's So LA. This was my first one. I have She's Vibrant, and I have Do We Know Her. These two are the first batch. This is the second batch. This is more pigmented than these two, and I prefer the older ones. These were gifted to me by the brand. These are from Henna Beauty. I have the shade Ornate and Rosia. These two are the latest ones in my collection. I have this NARS in Dolce Vita, and I finally gave into the hype and got this Dior Rosy Glow blush in the shade Pink. I saw a lot of videos and a lot of people with my skin tone or deeper skin tone were using it, and it looked really nice on them. I have two matte glow play blushes. I have the shade Grand, and I have the shade That's Peachy. This is the safest blush ever. If you want it is a cream to powder finish. It goes on like a cream but settles like a powder. And if you are scared of a cream blush, then you need to get this. It is very, it's a very squishy formula. It's like a putty, but the finish is amazing. It blends beautifully and it won't give you a hard time. Another one of my favorites is the rose ink lip and cheek color. I have four. I have foxglove, I have dahlia, I have azalea, and I have heliotrope. Heliotrope is my most used. It's almost like it's the most subtlest flush of color. It looks like the most subtle flush of color on me. Doesn't show up very much, but I like that. It's very balmy, blends beautifully, and does not get caught on my dry patches. I have the Tower 28 blush, Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour. I don't like this formula because it's very tacky. Like, it's tacky. Pillow Talk Lip and Cheek Glow in the shade Color of Dreams. This blush is perfect. It does get dirty when you put your brush in it, but this, like, if you want something to look amazingly natural on you, this one is it. Then I have the Shiseido Minimalist Whipped Powder Blush. I wanted to try this formula. I really like the color. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but yeah, it's slightly dry, so it can hold on to your dry patches. Compartments hold my water activated liners for creative looks and my rhinestones for creative looks. Moving on to lips. Before that, I also have this blush palette from Revolution. It's very old and battered. I have used these blushes a ton. Like, this was I got this back in 2017. Then I have some brush cleaner makeup remover. Then these are all my luxury lipsticks. I have a Victoria Beckham gloss. I have some Huda Beauty, I have MAC, I have Charlotte Tilbury, I have a Tower 28 gloss. Then I have these P. Louise eyeshadow bases. I really like them. I decluttered it before, but I have added this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.